Hey guys, first and foremost, I'm sorry for missing last week's video. A lot of things came up in my life that I had to take care of, but I'm working on getting back on track. Secondly, thank you all so much for getting me to 100 plus subs. It means the absolute world to me. Thirdly, in case you missed it, I'm going to be reviewing more Christmas movies starting Thanksgiving Day all the way to Christmas. On screen, you can see all of the movies I'll be watching and reviewing. Alright, let's get into the video now. When it was originally announced, I was legitimately excited for Netflix's Jingle Jangle, mainly because I absolutely love Christmas movies, even though they're corny, and secondly because it's a cast that mostly consists of people of color. Who doesn't love representation, am I right? Jingle Jangle succeeds at being a brand new quality Christmas movie that spreads a beautiful message regarding the power of believing. Before I get any further into the video, I'm your host, Justin, otherwise known as I Don't Beat Games, and I'm here to bring those festive vibes right to your monitors. For this part of the video, I'm going to give you guys my generalized spoiler-free thoughts. After this spoiler-free section, I'll be diving into full-on spoilers. For that part, I'll do a recap of the movie along with ending the video with my spoiler-based thoughts. Don't worry, I'll be letting you guys know when we're jumping into spoilers, so if you don't want to be spoiled, you'll know when it's your time to leave. So anyways, Jingle Jangle. This movie succeeds at a lot of things to the point where I was legitimately surprised. Netflix not only managed to make a quality Christmas movie, but they managed to make one with a cast that are people of color. Representation on a huge platform like Netflix genuinely matters. Now, the movie story was good enough to consistently provide entertainment from one scene to another. They also did a handful of scenes that were stop motion as the narrator of the movie told the story. When it comes to those scenes, it brought me back to the days of the old Christmas movies we know and love, such as Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and The Year Without a Santa Claus, just to give a few examples. One of the main characters of Jingle Jangle, whose name is Journey, carries the movie on her shoulders. For a child actor, she was such an entertaining character, and I'm sure that it'll mean a lot to the younger audience out there that see a bit of themselves in her. Her character was this imaginative and brave young girl that's filled with wonder and emphasizes the importance of believing. And she even changes the life of another main character, whose name is Jeronicus, by the end of the movie. Jingle Jangle doesn't try to do too much, which genuinely helps this movie as a whole. It doesn't feel like there's too many plot lines. It doesn't feel like they're trying to overachieve in this movie. And more importantly, they get the job done. The musical numbers were also another thing I was curious about heading into this movie. When it comes to newer Christmas movies, they have the uphill battle of trying to establish themselves among the many great classic Christmas songs we all know and love. But when it comes to Jingle Jangle, they did almost as good as you can possibly ask them to do with their musical numbers as a newer Christmas movie. Trust me, they let you know this in the beginning of the movie. Overall, Jingle Jangle is going to appeal to the huge audience of Christmas lovers. It's a good movie that could have been slightly stronger with its story, but to be honest, that's perfectly okay. For those of you that are curious and are trying to get into that festive mood, go ahead and watch Jingle Jangle. As for now, I'll be heading into the spoiler-based section of this video. If you don't want to be spoiled, now's your time to click off the video. Alright, let's get into the recap. The movie starts out with a brother and sister sitting by a Christmas tree waiting for their grandmother to tell them a story. As she tells the story, we watch it unravel. Jingle Jangle tells the story of the great inventor, Jeronicus Jangle, and his wonderful ability to make inventions. Jeronicus is basically this out-of-this-world inventor that owns a store in his town. Jeronicus has been waiting on a package that he needs in order to complete his next invention. After it finally comes in, this causes a celebratory musical number. I won't lie about this, I wasn't sure as to whether or not I was going to enjoy musical numbers in this movie. Honestly, I was actually shocked at how good the first grand musical number was. In fact, the beat of it was so good that I already have the soundtrack saved on Spotify. Anyway, after the musical number, Jeronicus ends up bringing this Hispanic doll to life named Don Juan Diego. It's a big moment for Jeronicus and his family, of course, so after this doll comes to life and everyone's giving it all the attention in the world, Jeronicus' family has a loving moment. Jeronicus tells his daughter Jessica that he believes in her and gives her an early Christmas gift, her own pair of inventor goggles. Now Jeronicus' apprentice Gustafson is watching from a distance and gets jealous because he wants Jeronicus to give him his own inventor goggles too. Also, don't get mad at me for potentially not saying his name correctly. I promise I'm trying my best. Just work with me here, alright? Watching Jeronicus give his daughter inventor goggles genuinely made him feel some type of way, and he ends up talking to Don Juan Diego, who convinces him to steal Jeronicus' book of inventions. The reason as to why he wants Gustafsson to steal it is because Jeronicus wants to make millions of the same doll, and Don Juan ain't having that, so he manipulates Gustafsson to steal it. Now if you ask me, this is the most petty nonsense in the world, but it's whatever. So they steal it, and Gustafsson ends up ruining Jeronicus' life because Jeronicus then struggles to make good inventions over time. As Jeronicus struggles, Gustafsson rises to become the richest inventor in the world. Enter a massive time skip where Jeronicus' wife dies, he pushed his daughter away, and he's basically an old miserable man who gave up on inventing. However, his shop is nothing more than a pawn shop to him. Jeronicus needs to make a massive invention to save him from losing his shop, which now means he'd have to reach out to his daughter that he ghosted after his wife passed away. Yes, he ghosted his own daughter because he went into a sad episode and lost his happiness. I can't even imagine wanting to do that to your own daughter, but it is what it is. Anyways, Jessica ends up sending her own daughter, Journey, to Jeronicus to spend Christmas with. However, the only reason she does this is because she made a promise to Journey. If Jeronicus invited her and only invited her, she would be allowed to go visit him. That's the only way Jessica was willing to allow Journey to meet Jeronicus. After all these years, Jessica finally got that invitation from Jeronicus. Of course, when Jeronicus ends up meeting Journey for the first time, he's cold and there's growing pains, but Journey shows him a young picture of Jessica with the inventor goggles, and he begins to slowly open up to Journey about her mother. Oh hey, you guys remember Gustafsson? So in case you're wondering what went over on his end of the world, he stole every single invention from Jeronicus' book until he got to the end of the book. Literally, for 30 years, this man stole someone else's work, and if that isn't messed up, I don't know what to tell you. Also, he calls himself Magic Man G now, so that's interesting, I guess. Anyway, they do this huge musical number before Gustafsson reveals his next invention, which ends up coming back to bite him in the ass because it crashes into someone's face and begins to fry their face. Don Juan Diego's still alive, and that's cool I guess, but he basically makes fun of Gustafsson for making such a terrible invention. He tells him, and I quote, "Well, maybe next time someone will lose an eye, so they'll never have to see what a mockery you've become." Yes, that is a direct quote. We continue to get a better look at the toxic relationship between Gustafsson and Don Juan after all these years, because they now have literally no good ideas anymore after stealing all of Jeronicus' ideas. Back to Jeronicus and Journey's side of the world, Jeronicus ends up finding out that Journey read all of his own notes and now understands a ridiculous amount of math. Journey was even helping him calculate things while pointing out miscalculations in his own notes, which basically shook him to his core. After that, Journey heads up to the attic seeking the invention that Jeronicus has been working on, the Buddy 3000. In the process, she meets Edison, the young assistant that Jeronicus has. I would have mentioned this earlier, but he basically has not shown up at all, and it kind of felt unnecessary to even mention him, but here we are. Back to the Buddy 3000, it's basically this robot that kind of looks like WALL-E in a way, but with a humanoid body. Turns out this invention was actually something Jessica drew in her book years ago. Jeronicus couldn't get this to work because he didn't believe in it, and that's all Buddy needs to power on, the power of belief. Okay, I get it. I know it sounds like I'm lying, but you guys need to believe me here. This is a little corny in my eyes, but once again, it's a Christmas movie, what do you expect? Jeronicus ends up hearing Journey and Edison in the attic and comes to have an absolutely ridiculous and unnecessary meltdown about leaving his stuff alone. So the unoriginal Magic Man G, aka Gustafsson, decides that he is so unoriginal that he needs to come all the way back to Jeronicus' shop to steal his brand new idea. Gustafsson tries to manipulate Journey into telling him the idea, but Journey ain't having any of that because she's way too smart. Edison, however, decides that he's the worst apprentice ever and ends up giving Buddy 3000 to Gustafsson. Edison, man, not cool. Not cool at all. Journey goes on a journey, pun intended, with Edison to do whatever she has to do in order to save Buddy. Gustafson ends up sending Buddy to what he calls the Crusher because it didn't work for him since, he didn't believe. Don Juan has to basically spell it out for Gustafson and be like, dude, they're stealing it because it's clearly worth something to them. Stop them, you idiot. No, that isn't verbatim, but it's basically what he said. Remember, you have to believe me. Journey ends up finding out that Jeronicus has come to save them, and she finally tells him that he needs to believe. Jeronicus ends up finally believing and gets his magic back just in time to save Journey, Edison, and Buddy 3000. Shout out to the power of believing one time, am I right? Oh hey, there was this postal lady named Miss Johnson that appeared earlier in the movie. She wasn't all that important honestly, but she clearly has a thing for Jeronicus. The only reason I bring this up is because she ends up coming to save them with a car to get them away from this burning factory. I'm assuming she followed them or something, I don't know man. As they get away, we get a shot of Gustafson being super salty as Don Juan mocks him for saying things like, it's a failed invention and let them have it. Turns out, Journey reveals to Jeronicus that she wrote the letter her mom received asking to meet his granddaughter, and she wrote the letter that Jeronicus received saying that she wanted to send her granddaughter over. Why, you might ask? Because she legitimately wanted to see Jeronicus' shop. As she grew up, Jessica kept telling her how magical his store was and how great of an inventor Jeronicus is, so she really wanted to see it for her own eyes. After all this time spent together, Jeronicus and Journey have a heart-to-heart conversation. She reveals to him that she's never felt like she belongs anywhere until she made it to his shop. Jeronicus gives her loving and encouraging words telling her to always believe because a child with imagination always belongs. Jessica finally comes to pick up Journey, which leads to an emotionally heavy scene between her and Jeronicus. Finally, after all these years, they make up. Jeronicus, Journey, and Jessica all use the power of belief to finally bring Buddy 3000 back to life. Gustafson magically pulls up to try to have Jeronicus arrested. Yes, that's his grand idea, trying to have Jeronicus arrested for his own invention. As the police stand there ready to take Jeronicus away, Journey grabs the notes that Gustafson claims belong to him. Journey shines a blue light on it which shows magical blue ink that clearly states across the entire piece of paper, property of Jeronicus Jangle. Don Juan instantly turns on Gustafson and goes back to Jeronicus. Jeronicus, after all these years, is going to mass produce Don Juan after he reprograms him. Gustafson finds out that he's an actual idiot because the night he ran away with Jeronicus' book of inventions, Jeronicus actually had a pair of inventor goggles had Gustafson waited. So all these years of being an unoriginal, self-proclaimed great inventor backfired because he got over emotional after seeing Jessica get her pair first. Anyways, Buddy 3000 ends up being such a lovable invention that Jeronicus no longer needs to close his shop. And after all this time, we finally find out who the grandmother is that was telling her grandchildren this story. The grandmother this entire time has been the one and only Journey herself. Journey ends up telling her grandchildren that the magic they've been waiting for is here, and guess who comes back to surprise the children? Buddy. Buddy 3000 comes back and we get one last shot of young Journey smiling. Buddy helps them fly out the window that's near their Christmas tree, to which I believe Buddy leaves us with the one last line: if you believe, it's all possible. So now that we wrapped up the movie's recap, it's time to give my opinion before the video's over. I'm genuinely shocked. Netflix's Jingle Jangle was actually a really good Christmas movie. The only problem I had with this movie overall is that the plot twist regarding Gustafson actually having inventor goggles ready for him had he waited was a little whack. The revelation just emphasizes how ridiculous he is and how impatient he is as a person. It also shows that he's a bit of a fool, which I can understand if that's what they were going for. However, the plot twist that did it for me was Journey being the grandmother that was telling the story. Considering the movie never really jumped back to it often enough for me to really have it in the back of my mind that that was a possibility, I actually smiled when it was revealed. Hell, I even smiled seeing Buddy again after all that time spent in the movie. Also, Journey was one hell of a character and you're wrong if you think differently. That's just the truth, okay? As a whole, if you're looking for a new Christmas movie to watch, go ahead and spend 2 hours watching Jingle Jangle. It's worth it. The music is good, the story is good enough, and I appreciate the message of this movie being how important it is to simply believe. It puts a smile on your face, it's a good time, and Journey is one hell of a character. As always, I'm your host, Justin, otherwise known as I Don't Beat Games, and I'm here to bring those festive vibes right to your monitors. I'll catch you guys in my next video. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, it'd mean a whole lot to me. If you really enjoyed this video, hit that sub button, that would mean even more to me. If you have any questions regarding my upcoming series or Jingle Jangle, write a comment below, I'll reply as soon as possible. As always, keep it real with peace, love, and positivity.